guys, welcome to another 52 licks. This time we're going to dive into a cool Antonio Sanchez lick. I twisted it around a little bit to make it fit into a bar of 4/4 and swing. He's doing it over a vamp, but it's a cool little 5-beat phrase that uses the paradiddle-diddle with the foot. And we're going to break down the main part of the phrase as it is. Let's first talk about the paradiddle-diddle with the foot part. It is a paradiddle-diddle. The sticking is this with the bass drum. He only plays that once before he goes to the snare like this. And then right after that, he plays a phrase that just goes. So puts one more note in, which is right before he plays that paradiddle-diddle with the foot. He's going to put a bass drum right in front of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Put the whole thing together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the phrase. We're going to break down how he uses it and then how we can use it in some other contexts. There's also some really important phrasing things that separates the way Antonio might play that phrase versus several other drummers. It's part of what gives Antonio its sound. So the lick is off of Antonio's first solo record, and it's a tune written by Chick Corea called "One for Antonio." I think it's the first track on the record. Trio tune. They get into a whole bunch of cool stuff, and then toward the end of the tune, Antonio Antonio solos over this little vamp. Boom, 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 boom. So as he's doing that, he gets into a lot of cool stuff, and then he gets into that little 5-beat phrase and starts looping it over and over again for a couple of, I think like 3-4 passes, and then moves on to something else. But that lick kind of stuck out to me because of the repeating pattern. It also connected a little bit with the tane phrasing in 5 and the paradiddle-diddle stuff that we've kind of been working on. So he, again, uses it over a vamp, so he's purposely going over the bar. The way I kind of wrote it or adapted it for what we're doing is we do 2 of the phrases, and then we put a little cap on the end to create a nice 4-bar phrase. So if you wanted to play it at an up-tempo, then it's a cool 4-bar phrase. I think it's important to use it in both contexts. Use it, free form over the bar, get yourself in and out of it, but then also feel like you can put it into context of something like a kind of upswing thing, or even a up like straight 8 kind of thing as well. I think it works in that context too. So beyond breaking down the phrase as I already have, which is the paradiddle-diddle, right? So it's just paradiddle-diddle with the first left of the paradiddle-diddle on the rack tom. Which works as its own phrase, and then he comes out of it. Except slightly different sticking there. I think one of the tricks here, one of the things that makes Antonio's version so hip is, unlike a lot of other jazz drummers, one of the cool things about Antonio's phrasing, in particular on the toms, is he gets a rounder sound, a little bit more of a legato sound out of his toms. Can he dig into his toms and make them pop? Absolutely. He does it all the time. But he has these cool phrases that they're more legato. They kind of they roll over a little bit easier. They're a little smoother. And this is one of those phrases. Instead of playing them like this, which also sounds amazing, he rounds them off a little bit. And then when he goes back to the snare, he does that too. So if you're trying to get that kind of smooth over the bar line thing that he's got, some of it's going to come from either letting off a little of the velocity here instead of. For me, one of the ways I do that is I open up my hands a little bit as I do it. verses. And the other little aspect of Antonio's sound is he likes this sort of kind of thing, in particular where his left hand and his right foot kind of work in conjunction. So in unison a little bit with the ride cymbal as well. So he has both of those elements. So give the paradiddle-diddle tom phrase its own space in your practice session. Put the whole phrase together so it creates a 5-beat phrase, a looping over the bar phrase. And then work on the one that's 4 bars long. I'll have all those variations written out in the PDF and kind of broken up into some different patterns. If you want to get a little bit more of that Antonio Sanchez sound in your playing, these are a couple of little doors that we can open up and get you headed in that direction. Okay, hope that you enjoyed this one. We'll see you on the next one. Good luck.